Let me tell you something. Isolating yourself, being alone and sleeping and rotten in bed or on your couch is not a form of resting. I'm sorry, someone has to tell you that. A gente usa esse podcast para treinar o seu inglês e no episódio de hoje, vamos para aqueles episódios que eu fico falando aqui sobre um tópico aleatório, uma reflexão aleatória que eu tive. Então, pode ser que fique um pouco bagunçado, mas a boa notícia é que a partir de agora eu pretendo legendar os episódios no YouTube. Então, se você quer episódios legendados, já vai lá se inscrever no nosso canal do YouTube. Você pode pesquisar o Fluency ou você pode achar o link dele no link da bio aqui embaixo, enfim. Que eu vou começar a postar, a upar os episódios lá legendados, ok? Essa é a boa notícia. E lá você também segue a gente, ativa o sininho, porque aí assim você não esquece de praticar com o podcast, ok? E pode comentar nas duas plataformas, ok? Eu sei que vocês sempre comentam em particular, que vocês assistem. Muito obrigada a todo mundo que reposta no Story, é muito legal. E é isso, vocês ajudam demais, demais a gente. E eu adoro gravar esse podcast. Let's start, because today I want to talk about something personal. And this is something that has been affecting me and my friendships over the past few months. And it's actually a topic that I've been seeing everywhere. I'm not the only person for sure. I'm not the only person talking about this, but it's like rotting in bed and watching TikToks or scrolling through your feed, watching TV and like staying on your couch or on your bed all day. This is not a real form of resting, okay? And okay, of course. Watching movies, I am totally in for watching movies. I love it. But watching movies and doing this kind of thing is for sure a form of resting. But sometimes we are so stuck in our routine that when the weekend arrives, we are so tired and so drained. It feels like our job and our interactions during the week drain the energy out of us. And the only energy we have is for sleeping, using our cell phones, watching TV the whole weekend. And the year that I went through my burnout, this is exactly what I was doing on my weekends. And a lot of the times, the only reason that I survived the week was because I saw my friends and my boyfriend, and it was incredibly energizing. I feel like work and college, they take up most of the time, most of our time during the week, and we never do anything for ourselves during the week. It's a privilege to go to the gym, go to a swimming class, maybe even going to therapy, even studying English, having time to study English to have a class. It's a privilege in the type of routine that we have today. And because we get so stuck in this kind of routine, when the weekend comes, we just want to isolate ourselves because it feels like it's the only way we're going to get some rest. Because if I've done so many things during the week, it's obvious that on the weekend, if I sleep all day long, I will finally be well rested on Monday, right? But it's actually the opposite. If you keep doing this, suddenly your 20s, your 30s are gone, and you will realize that you've spent the best years of your life working, studying, and not growing and cultivating the connections that you had in your life. When it's like you will only realize this when it's too late and you look around and the only thing you have is your job and your diploma and like the accomplishments you've had your life. Okay, but what about your friends? I know that after your 20s, we are always talking about like, oh, I have only a small group of friends, and we have the famous low maintenance friendship, right? Like amizade de baixa manutenção. We are so proud to say that we have a small circle of friends and a high maintenance friendship and that we don't go to parties. We make some terms so popular on the internet, like jovem senhora, and enough. I have nothing against this term, okay? I'm not criticizing the term jovem senhora. I'm criticizing the concept that I am so tired and I am so antisocial that I only like doing things that usually old people like to do, right? Like coloring or crocheting or reading a book or whatever. But the thing is, um, we don't realize that working on our connections, seeing our friends, going to a concert, inviting your friends over to your house, connecting with people and making friends is also a form of rest. Pra quem não sabe, o rest é descanso. É disso que eu estou falando nesse episódio. Rest. Sempre que eu falar rest, eu estou falando de descansar. So, connecting with people is also a form of rest. Using your creativity is also a form of rest. Going to the gym, working out, playing sports, it's also a form of rest. Rest doesn't need to be isolating yourself in your house because you don't have any energy to see other people. Okay, so great. Great. You are wasting and spending all your energy during the week with your coworkers, with your job, with college, and on the weekend, you are sleeping because it's the only way you're gonna have more energy to spend and waste, desperdiçar this energy with the same people. And again, your job, your college, like really? Your job, your college are the only things that deserve your energy? You are saving all your energy for your job? Like, are you sure you want to live your life like this? And before when you realize, when you stop and realize, you're gonna have lost all your connections, all your friends, because you didn't care about them, because you didn't cultivate them, because you were too tired. Like, I think we use exhaustion and burnout as an excuse to isolate ourselves from the world, but doing the opposite and seeing your friends and being with your friends and with your family is a way of keeping yourself from the burnout, is a way of re-energizing yourself. And I was talking to a friend about this because she was diagnosed with a mental disorder. And when we have something to do, like, oh, let's go out, let's go to a bar, let's go to Nicole's house, blah, blah. She is usually feeling tired, and sometimes she doesn't want to go because she just wants to be alone, and it's totally understandable because it's like a diagnosis that she can't control a lot. But she always says that every time she goes out, every time she sees her friends, every time she sees us, after she goes back home, it feels like her energy is back. It feels like everything is right with the world again. And she never regrets going out and seeing her friends. And I feel like everybody can relate to this. Relate is like se identificar. We can relate to this because there is always that type of meme on the internet, like memes. There is always a meme on the internet like, ah, uh, when I plan to do something with my friends and they cancel in the last minute, and then the person is usually celebrating because their friends canceled. I know that when we have something to do, the best feeling is always canceling and staying home. But after you go out, after you see your friends, after you grow these connections with your people, you never regret it. It's always good. This is what I feel like. Sometimes I don't want to see anybody. Sometimes I just don't want to interact with anybody. But then I invite my friends to my house and I always feel so good, even if it's a Sunday and the next day is Monday and you have to work, but I don't care. If I see my friends, it's always a good day. It gives me the feeling that, oh yeah, right, this is life. Like Yes, this is living, And I feel like we need to stop using our job and our college and our obligations as a reason to isolate ourselves from the world. Because then, what are you working for? You know, if it's not to have these experiences with the people in your life, then why are you working? What are you working for? What are you doing with your life? And I have some friends that I haven't seen in such a long time because they are working and hustling. Hustle is a term in English that it's about like working a lot, making money. And I have some friends that are so busy hustling and making money that I haven't seen them in months, sometimes in years, because they don't stop. And I know that sometimes we don't have this privilege, but when we finally have a break, why do we choose to sleep all day and isolate ourselves from the world instead of just being around people? Something that I've learned in the past years is that we can't survive without a community. We can't survive without connections. And a lot of the times, what keeps us alive and functioning and healthy is the connections in our lives, is like the experiences we have. And capitalism and the modern world and the job market, all these aspects of the modern life make you think that the purpose of life is working and making money and buying a house and buying a car. And look, these things are important. Of course, I am doing these things. But we forget that if you don't have a family, why are you buying a house? If you don't have friends, then I mean, why are you saving money if you don't have friends to experience life with you? Why are you saving money if you don't have time to take a trip and to travel and to know new places? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, have you ever stopped to think like, what am I doing this for? And is it worth it? I don't know, maybe I'm saying this from a privileged place, and I know I have the privilege of having a great routine today, but I worked hard to have this type of routine, and sometimes I wish that I hadn't worked so hard. I think I worked too much, and I've lost some years of my life working and studying like crazy. And I know that I've missed so many moments with my family, with my friends, because I was worried about other things. And I mean, yes, I am where I am because of that, but also, I don't know, I think the process could have been a little lighter, a little happier. And I feel like last year actually, was the moment that I stopped and understood that without my friends, without my family, and without these experiences, what is this life for? You know? So every time that I just want to isolate myself and I just want to stay home and see nobody, I always think, no, 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 no. I'm sure I'm gonna feel much better after I see my friends, after I go to the gym. And I never regret it. I never regret it. And just keep in mind that spending energy with these activities is not wasting energy. Spending energy is like gastar energia, usar energia, right? Wasting energy is like desperdiçar energy. So spending energy with your friends, with sports, with parties, concerts, experiences is not wasting energy. Sometimes these experiences will make you much more relaxed, much happier, and much more well rested, bem descansado, than rotting in bed, like apodrecendo na cama all day, watching TV or scrolling on your cell phone. Think about all the days that you spent just using your cell phone, just checking Instagram and TikTok, and think about how that makes you feel. Do you feel good after a day like this? And now the opposite. Think about the days that you saw your friends, that you had a picnic, that you invited them to your house, that you went to a birthday party, the days that you've traveled. Think about how those days make you feel and which day makes you more energized. I feel like we are talking about so many hobbies that are a little bit isolating, like coloring or I don't know, those creative hobbies that you do by yourself alone. These hobbies are great. They are great for concentration, they are great for patience, and they are great to like relax your mind. But we cannot think that this is the only way to get our energy back. Some hobbies require energy. Some hobbies and some activities need your energy, but the reward, a recompensa, is so much better and it's just more energy and feeling happier, feeling lighter. And I'm sure that having these nice and easy and fun weekends will make your week feel so much better and so much more enjoyable. And I know that every time that I spend my weekend doing something fun, the rest of my week is always so much better. It's always so energizing. I feel like after I do all these things on the weekend, I feel ready to start the week. And I feel like sometimes we forget about this feeling and we are tending to isolate ourselves more and more. So I don't know. It's something to think about. It's something I've been thinking about for a while now. And it's something that I've learned in the past 2 years. And I am much happier after opening myself to this type of experience rather than just isolating myself and making myself more stressed because of work and because of my studies. And I don't know, I feel like life's too short, right? Sometimes you gotta stop and look around. Eu tô referenciando Curtindo a Vida Doidado de novo. Teve algum episódio que eu. Whatever, whatever. You got what I'm talking about. So that's it. That's today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I wasn't repetitive. Sometimes I feel like I repeat things so many times, but let's remember that this podcast is meant for you to practice your English. So that's why I repeat myself so much, okay? When I repeat, I know that it helps you memorize things and learn things and understand things. So I'm sorry if I repeat things so many times, but I know it's important for your English learning. That's it. I'm gonna stop talking. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.